So they are using the Pfizer one, which requires the, crazy refrigeration. So they're bringing a mobile refrigeration unit to all the sites. So it'll be Archbishop Ryan, it'll be Lincoln, there'll be South Philadelphia building, and then there's a couple other smaller public grade schools that'll be used as sites around the city. So we're going to roll this out on Thursday's our walkthrough. So CHOP's going to go visit our site. They have to approve the way everything is set up for the doctors, and then it'll roll out the following week.
Is this only going to be for education? Is this going to stay open? It's not going to stay open after everybody, all the education?
No, it's education only. So between public school, Catholic school, charters, and then they're going to vaccinate coaches also. So if you're the football coach, you'll be able to get a vaccination. I mean, they're looking at somewhere in the neighborhood of like 16,000 people.
Wow.
So amongst all the systems combined for everything, you get, and then there's independent schools that are rolled into this. The only thing we're not sure of, and it sounds like this could be added on as well, is daycare providers. That's the only thing we're not sure about, because a lot of daycares have pre-K and kindergarten programs. So technically they fall under that K-12 education. So they're trying to work that out. That's between Dr. Farley and the city on whether or not they can get enough additional vaccines for those people. So it's going to be a massive project to get all these people vaccinated, and they want to have it all done. The first round is going to go from March 4th until April 4th, and then the second doses are going to start April 6th and go all the way through May 6th. So it's going to be a couple months, and but they think they'll have anybody that wants one that's a teacher or an education provider in the city will be able to get one. So
hey, what about families?
No families. That was one of the questions that came up tonight. Was if you had a family member, could they come? And then the other one was if you were pregnant right now, didn't want to receive the shot, but after you deliver, would you be eligible to go get a shot? Were the two big questions that came up tonight. So, and both were answered. The answer was no to both questions. So if you're pregnant and you decline it now, you can come back. You can get a shot on your own after you deliver. You just won't be part of this program. So, but they're trying. I mean, I got rolled up in the Moderna thing with Rite Aid. I'm right at the cusp of the backlog. So my second shot's supposed to be March 13th. And Rite Aid already said that up to March 13th, they think they're going to have to reschedule. So we'll see.
Yeah, I've been putting applications in, and I got one early again with the Black Doctors over at the LaCour Center. But I figured they'll be coming to the Northeast, no problem.
Well, the Black Doctors is doing theirs on Saturday or Friday into Saturday. It's 24 hours of vaccinations.
Wow.
You have to be from a certain zip code, though.
Yes,
we just shared that. We got that in our office, the notice, and in typical fashion, not typical of this organization, but typical Philly fashion, if you will, they really are ambiguous to the point of you wonder if it's intentional, because people are going to complain, well, why this is these are public resources, why are they going to these communities? And I'm not trying to dispute that either way, because you can make a case either way, right? But the point is when you're putting out an announcement, when you say it's free, you have to be a Philadelphia resident to go, and it's free. And then we're going to, quote, prioritize these following zip codes. So if I show up at, 12 o'clock on Friday, and then they're not going to make me wait till 11:30 on Saturday just to make sure that like I don't get a vaccine before somebody from one of those zip codes. It doesn't make sense how they explain it. And,
Yeah, I agree with you. I was very confused reading it. I was trying to make heads or tails of the priority zones. They were going to put you in 4 different lines when you showed up. Yeah, I was very confused reading it.
I mean, I get the idea. Here's what a best case scenario is, the way they present it. Like, you show up, you get in line. If somebody comes in after you and happens to be from one of those zip codes, then they go to the front of the line, the priority line, if you will. They have 2 lines. They have a priority line and a non-priority line. And they only get to the non-priority line when everybody in the priority line is vaccinated. You know what I mean?
Right.
I guess that's how they're going to do it, but they got to explain that kind of stuff, because otherwise you just have people showing up on hope and disappointment, and which is why it's really a can of worms for any elected official, because you don't want to get people. People have had enough problems already. You can't put it yourself or them in a position where you inflate their hopes only to let them down again.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Bill. I thought this whole thing was really backwards. When I heard about it earlier in the week that they were going to do this, I thought, oh my God, this is going to be awesome. Yes. Everybody that's going to go to it. Like the real big on there, they say wear your warmest clothes because you're going to be standing for quite a while.
That's nuts. See, these people are just out of control. If they can't handle the job correctly, why don't they turn it over to the National Guard? They'll take care of it. It just drives me nuts. Here we are. We're heading into March, and I don't see any sites in the Northeast yet. I mean, they say they've got them, but
where does this allocation come from? Does it come from these allocation? Do they have some other allocation?
Rite Aid's allocation comes directly from the federal government. So the government is giving direct to Rite Aid. The city is getting their allocation from the state.
No. I'm sorry. The city is one of like 10 cities in the country. It's the rest of the state has their own allocation.
Right.
But Philadelphia has a separate allocation. But as you say, that doesn't include the Rite Aids of the world. And I don't know where the Black Doctors allocation is coming from, but is that coming from Philadelphia's, or are they getting theirs directly from Washington as well? But no.
Well, the Black Doctor was originally set up with the same time as that Philly fighting COVID, and that was from the city.
Right.
And then Philly fighting COVID, that thing just blew up. But the
reality of the situation is, people that are from Black neighborhoods and brown neighborhoods don't, we go into their neighborhoods and they come here. And I think it makes sense to target vaccinations in the geographic areas where it's most prevalent. If for the greater good, we want to, nip it in the bud. If you're going to remove a cancer, you want to remove the cancer cell. You don't want to take, some other. That's where you apply your resources where it's needed. However, the explanations have been terrible.
Yeah. This is like solving world hunger from our side.
Yeah, I think one of the frustrating things to see is as you look at some of these groups that have popped up, these Facebook groups, and what people are doing is they're booking appointments. Somebody from Harrisburg is booking appointments at Rite Aid on Frankfurt Avenue. And fine, there's nothing to tell you can't do that, but they're not showing up for their appointment. So when I went on Saturday, right, my appointment was for 3:45. I was the last appointment on Saturday. The pharmacist told me that they had 18 people not show up on Saturday. And I went to the Rite Aid across from the Mayfair Mall. That's where I had to go. So they had 18 extra doses that they could have given out. But because of the way the scheduling is set up, they can't call I went on a Saturday. They can't call the Monday people to come in on Saturday. Like Rite Aid doesn't allow them to do that, which I think is ridiculous, But the fact that there's no good software out there, and trust me, I know these companies can make this stuff. It's not that difficult to do, right, to screen people out, that we're not using something like that. Now I know Montgomery County, that's what they're doing now, because people were getting a unique or what the county thought was a unique link, and then it was being shared out, and the slots were being filled up within minutes.
All of this is software that exists already. When I worked for the yoga studio, we had a class that needed specialty equipment. So there was a finite number of people that could go into that class. And they created, what would happen was, say there was 10 spots, we could sign up 15, 20 people. And if there were cancellations, it went in the order. So number 11 got called, then number 12 got called. And you were told, look for a text message 15 minutes prior to class,
Right.
That's all they need.
Yeah, it's very, very frustrating. Now my wife goes Saturday. Her appointment's this Saturday. Now she's going to the Rite Aid at Tarsdown Harbison is where her appointment is.
Now how did you guys get your appointments?
I registered under K to 12.
Gotcha.
So they're doing groups 1A and 1B.
Right.
So if you've got a pre-existing condition, right, which the pre-existing condition list is very, very long.
Yep.
But, I just put in K to 12 education and they took me right away. So with my wife, we put down, her pre-existing condition and it took her right away. Now it's very difficult. Once I access the site, you get through that part. So when you log on, the first thing you do, they let you pick an appointment. And then once you enter in all your information, by the time you get to the end, your appointment's gone. So then you have to try to go back and pick from the list again. So it took a couple times of picking from the list before we got one to stick, but it eventually works, But I know a lot of people, and because there's no check on it, when you walk into Rite Aid, all they do is check your temperature and they take your ID. There's no check on or proof of any of your symptoms. Because I know for a fact, I have a handful of friends that jumped the line. They just put down made up a pre-existing condition, got on the list, and they're all getting vaccinated. And because there's no check to it, you have to provide nothing. So when my parents went to Delaware County to get theirs at St. Kevin's, they had to print out something from their doctor that said, my dad was diabetic, that, my mom has a, kidney disease. Like they had to have documentation from their doctor and provide that when they walked in. So,
well, look, that's fine if people can live with themselves. But if I was them, I guess they're not bragging about that they got the shot or put it on Facebook because I said I had diabetes. I guess if you can sleep at night, that's fine. If you want to do that.
I got mine at Fox Chase. Fox Chase Cancer Center called me. I have 5 doctors there. They called me and asked me if I wanted the vaccine because I only put my name in with the city. I wasn't putting it in. Wasn't being forthwith, I guess. I just figured I'd get it when I get it. But I got my first one yesterday. So I was a little shocked when I got the phone call.
Yes, man. I tried to sign up for the VA, but I never got myself a veteran's identification card. So I tried to do that. Well, that's another story in itself.
Crazy.
I did that, Stan, with my dad. I did the online thing and it took me like an hour. And then I got a call from my uncle and said, hey, just give this phone call, call them up down there. And I called up and they said, oh, sure, tell them to come in next week. Like the online thing did nothing, but
they said that, they got to review my application.
Oh,
You know,
But he's 81, so I don't know if it's an age thing there or not, but yeah, he went down.
I mean, I'll try. I don't really want to go down there. That's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, it was, but
But hey, you know, I don't want to leave any stones unturned. So,
Yeah, Rite
all
Aid.
right.
Christine's coworker went to Rite Aid yesterday. She had to go into work an hour yesterday for her. Her husband went in the morning. She went in the afternoon. Her appointment. I don't know how they. I have to ask how they signed up.
All right. Why don't we get this meeting started?
Yeah.
You know, we can spend the whole day on COVID. All right. Why don't we start out with the treasurer's report?
$10,572.10.
You know, you need to repeat it twice for me.
$10,572.10.
Thank you.
Your camera is looking at the ceiling fan there, Bobby.
I know. Well, I don't know how to put it down. I'm in my bedroom, so my boudoir.
All right. I think the next important thing that I had on my list was the information for the 501c3. Tom, were you ever able to touch base with your buddy?
I was, yeah. He's putting the proposal together. I told him to give me all the options possible that we could do. So that's what he's going to do. So he needs 2.5 weeks, but it's tax season kicked off last Friday, so he's fairly busy, which is a good thing. So we should have something by the next board meeting to review. But as far as what services we would want him to provide. So.
All right. Yeah, I would think soup to nuts unless we find something better.
Okay.
Hey, James, I appreciate you signing in. Just wanted to get you up to date on what we're doing. We've, as a board or as a community, we've elected to move forward and file for a 501c3 so we could activate a CDC organization. CDC is a 501c3. It's fully tax deductible, as opposed to a civic association like ours. We're a 501c4, and technically that is not you can't write donations off to a 501c4. So that's kind of where we're going. And once the 501c3 is in place and our application is in place for the CDC, and I have already talked to the councilman about that, so we're good to go there. We will then set up a meeting with New Corton to see where we want to go with the that part of the program. So it's basically, what do we want to put on the New Cortland site? Do we want to put, like a place to meet? Do we want to put like a recreation center, indoor soccer? There's lots of different things we've thrown out there. It's just a matter of where do we want to go? How are we going to manage it? And then finding some funding. I'm pretty confident the funding is going to be available to us. It's we just need to take that bull by the horns and run with it. All right. Does anybody have any questions on that topic?
No.
Anybody have any feedback on any of those items?
Yes, we're still keeping the Civic as a 501c4. The Civic is going to have to run independent of the CDC, so that'll still be around.
Right.
So we're not giving that up.
No, I don't think we should.
If dues are paid to the 501c3, they're tax deductible also.
Right.
Correct. Yes.
All right. Let's see what else. I'm looking over some of my notes here. I think Bobby.
I can go through the list if you want.
Yeah, go ahead. I do have one quick item though. Bobby is putting legislation in for remove donation bins. I'm not sure if I brought that up last time. So I'm not, it's probably in the first reading right now. If you bring up that list, Crystal, that'd be great.
All right, the next item is Enfield Avenue, homeless and dumping.
Yeah, I was by there the other day, and guess what? The homeless are gone, tents gone, and the place is cleaned up.
Who
Who
did that?
I don't, I brought it up to Bobby. I don't know if she called over to clip or what. But it's cleaned up. Somebody went in there and got rid of those tanks, the tents down. Now, I know she had somebody in our office last week, a homeless person, put this, and it was a female, put her up in the apartment we have upstairs for a little bit, and then we couldn't get her out. So they had to call the police, do a 302 on her, and basically drag her out of our office. So she was going a little, off the wall. Again, I'm not sure if that's the same individual or not, but at the end of the day, from where we stand, looks like it's taken care of. Anybody else been back here?
The dumping has moved to the apartment house parking lot.
Oh, in the back?
That is correct, starting with a giant pile of giant tires.
What apartment house?
The 40 Enfield Court, 4500 Enfield Avenue, between Solly and Dittman.
Yeah, I've been back here before.
My friend, that's been like that. My friend used to live. I have two friends that live there, and that's been a mess back there.
Right. But now outsiders have discovered the place, as if they didn't already.
Yeah, true.
All right, Stan, so maybe we add that as something to for the councilman to cover.
Well, if that's on private property, we'll have to get, I guess, clip or so. I'll have to find out. Do we have an exact address on that again? Enfield Court, was it?
4515 Enfield is the address on the tax rolls. In other words, the middle door on the apartment.
Okay, got it. It's called Enfield Court.
Yes.
All right, I'll see what I can find out.
All right. Next item is tiny homes.
Well, can I, before we go there, I have something related to that last item.
Yep.
Now, it's kind of similar. Did someone mention previously? If they did, then we could do it as a separate item, but there's like it looks like I don't know what it is. It's like a structure of some sort that's plopped down on the shoulder on Ashburner Street, approaching the bridge over 95. I guess it is.
Yeah, it looks like an ice cream truck.
But it's just, there's no wheels. It's only like waist high.
Yeah,
like
it's just the top.
Yeah, the top. What is that? Is that? Did somebody say somebody was living in there or something?
No, that
Okay.
looks like the top of an ice cream truck.
Okay, so it's not like a homeless encampment or something.
No.
Okay, all right, that's all.
So why is it there?
Yeah.
Somebody dumped it. That's got to go to streets.
I thought it might have been connected to the homeless. That's why I mentioned it.
No.
All right,
I'll send it over to streets. See if we can get them to pick it up.
thanks.
Next item on the docket is tiny homes.
Give me a second here.
Yep.
I'm putting down as Arbor Meadows. All right, tiny homes. Funding was approved for that. I'm pretty sure it was approved. I read something the other day. So it looks like they will be building these structures in the near term. I don't have a time frame yet, but it is going to, be developed on the Riverview project or the property. So More to come on that.
Riverview?
Yeah, down there by Pennypack on the Delaware. Is that Riverview or River?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, Riverview. Yeah,
really?
they got lots of space back there. They're knocking down a couple of buildings.
Are they knocked down a couple buildings?
They
Is
will
the
be.
shel-
They
is
will
the
be.
shelter
That's
still
not.
there
Yeah, that's not
running?
where the structure. This structure is going right along the path that goes to Pennypack on the Delaware. There's a structure that is existing, that is in operations, got an operating kitchen, bathroom, and that's basically where they're going to, have their toilet facilities, and meals will be made in there. So,
What was the structure? Was that the old shelter, women's shelter?
well, right now it's a shelter. I don't think there's any women in there, but there are certainly.
Right, it's not running, but that's what I asked you. Is it the women's shelter? So it's inside the gates of Riverview.
Yeah, it's not. It's a men's shelter.
Oh, I don't know where that was. Okay.
Yeah, that's the one run. Well, I'm assuming it's just men because that's all I saw there. I was inside 2 or 3 times now.
So a couple of thoughts on this is, have you heard anything on the, I mean, we know that the basis for administration is a senior homeless person, right? How are they,
Yes.
huh?
Yes, it's for seniors.
And for homeless, right?
Correct.
So how are they determining eligibility?
Don't know what the eligibility requirements are, but it is temporary. These are not permanent homes.
When I did the meeting with homeless services, they said they have to be like registered in the database. They have to want to go to something like this. That they will communicate these programs to the people that they meet that are in their shelters or they come across, but that they can't force them into this program. So they'll have to go through homeless services to get into this, and they'll identify the people.
Yeah,
So
they've already told us that most of the homeless folks want to stay in the community that they're currently in. They don't want to move.
right. So what I don't understand what the whole concept is. If it's only temporary and they cannot be unemployed, where are they supposed to go after that? What
Well, I
is the
guess they're-
purpose of it? And it's supposed to be helping them to do what?
Well,
I
first
don't-
off, it gets them off the street. So it gets them into some housing. So they're protected, they're fed, they'll have facilities to use. And then at that point, homeless services will try to, get them recirculated back into the community.
Okay.
So the idea is that this is not a dump program. This is an idea is to put someone in there and then work with them to move them out and open up the space for the next person.
Right.
So, but the thing is, what are they doing with them to get them out productively?
Well, I mean, homeless services is a fairly large organization. They have resources, they have jobs available. They've got a lot of, again, I said resources. They've got all the resources they need to make this a positive experience if the individual wants it to be a positive experience.
They're probably going to try to reconnect them with family members too.
Could be.
Anything else on this topic?
I don't have anything else. Anybody else?
Next item, just a reminder that the Bobby Heenan's blood drive is coming up on the 22nd. It's at the Union Halls up by the Northeast Airport.
Correct. Thank you.
You already covered the bins. I actually have that in here. Wawa.
Well, I think I mentioned the last time that the holdup were the 2 water taps. One water tap was for the fire hydrant that needed to be moved, and the other tap was for the Morrissey property. Problem there was the feed pipes for the Morrissey property were actually running under the Wawa building, so that it had to be moved. Those permits have all been secured. Pretty sure the water tap for Marcy is completed. Not sure if the fire hydrant one is done yet, but I did see the street dug up a couple times. So, but they have that. That's under control at this point.
Great. Anything new on Ashton and Grant construction for the Amazon warehouse?
No, I do believe that is now public information. So Amazon is in fact moving in there. I do have a whole list of large projects I'm working on. Most of them are in the Rydesburg, Port Richmond area, but it seems like all these things happened at once. Advanced 6, I mean, they've got, I learned a piece of information the other day. Our buddy, Mr. Wolf, looks like he owns some riverfront property over in Bridesburg.
Yeah.
He's currently renting a dock to Advanced 6. They manufacture primarily nylon for like face shields and those kinds of things. So they turn out to be an essential, business. So let's see. You got a new park going in down there at Bridesburg. I think I talked to you about the Tacony boat launch and the Bridesburg boat launch. They're all being built. There is an issue with the gun club. East Tarsdale wanted to get involved, get some information on what the issues were between the city of Philadelphia, the gun club, and Riverfront North. So that meeting has not been set up yet, but I will certainly be a part of it, and we'll see if we can get some issues fixed there. Because right now, that entire trail along the police academy and the gun club, that is shut down until Memorial Day, and they want it to be open some longer hours, but that cannot happen until the police academy either gets some overhead baffles installed or protection for that path. I don't know about you guys, but I've been on that path and I have found spent rounds on the path itself. I'm pretty sure those spent rounds are coming from the police academy. Goes over the gun club. The gun club has overhead baffles, both in the rifle range and in the pistol range. So it's pretty difficult to get a round off up in the air where something would land on the path. Where the police academy does not have any baffles.
Not to borrow a phrase from the former president, but you could shoot somebody back there and get away with it because nobody'll know the difference. They don't know where the sound is coming from.
Yep. But I know the city does have a plan. Problem is they don't have funding. They've got a plan, no funding. So I'm figuring this is going to probably be a couple of more years. In the meantime, you have Riverfront North chomping at the bit. They want to get the thing open because, obviously they spent a lot of money. Was ill-advised in my humble opinion, because why would you build a structure before you nail down the safety issues? But hey, that's just me.
You're thinking logical again there, Stan.
Yeah. And that's what we were promised, by the way. When they came out to our community, that was the plan. But you know what happens with those plans. All right. Anything else on that particular topic?
Nope, nothing for me.
All right. What do we have next?
That's the list of topics that I had open.
All right.
From the committees, like the specific committees that we have listed out, I don't know that there's any new topics. I'll just run through them. We already handled a lot of the zoning stuff. Is there any other zoning issues?
Nope.
The bylaws committee is closed since we've adopted the new bylaws. We don't have it. Next topic for committees was UHCA events, but at this point, we don't have anything scheduled pending the post-pandemic. Next topic is membership, the membership committee, for the general membership recruitment and board membership recruitment. We could definitely use people for this, right?
Yep.
So at this point, we don't have anything in the books going on for that. Finance, we already talked about.
Yeah, maybe we get Jim to sign up for something.
You come to a board meeting, chances are high that you'll get asked to join a committee. So, Mr. Boylan, if you're interested in helping us out on any committees as I run through these, just stop me.
And you're on mute, by the way.
Who, me?
No. Yeah, James is on mute.
Yeah, Mr. Boland. Yeah, Mr. Boland, you're on mute if you wanted to chime in there. All right, we have a long-standing issue of trying to drive membership and having, as you see from the attendance to the meeting, a challenge in getting people to attend. Next committee was well, we covered finance already. Communications committee. I'm not that's me. I don't have anything to offer on that at this time. Town Watch. We never really have gotten that really off the ground again. I'd love to get that started. What's the gentleman? Tom, you know the guy, or maybe it was Bill that knew the guy.
Which guy?
For the Town Watch, the gentleman for
Oh, yeah, the guy who the city, Greg Buccaroni.
Yeah, that's him. Is there any interest in me reaching out to him to try to get him to come? I mean, my fear is that we don't have people to attend, right? So.
Yeah, I mean, you certainly could reach out. I know he tried to get one back up and running 3 years ago, and it was done in conjunction with Holmesburg and Tacony, and I think they patrolled for maybe 9 months, and that thing kind of dried up.
Yeah.
Again, it's the same thing as always. It's bodies. You know, they had 4 guys doing it every night or a couple nights a week, and you know, it kind of fizzled out. Greg was always at our PDEC meetings for a long time. And then he had stopped coming when the captain changed over. But you know, he's got a lot of great ideas. He's got a lot of good you know, connections and you know, if we had the people, he could certainly get us up and running quickly. But again, it's fine. Who's going to patrol from, you know, 9 p.m. till 2 in the morning? Because I know that was what they were doing with the other Town Watch that they started back up, and they were going from Tacony all the way up to KFC up here.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
just
I
don't
don't
have the
know that kind of-
resources. We do not have the resources.
Yeah, I mean, it's a retired person's kind of thing, you know. It's hard. You got a 9 to 5 job in the morning. How do you go out from 9 to midnight every night? Or you have kids at home. It's very difficult to do those kinds of things.
Are we getting high volumes up here in our, you know, just our territory, or is it just more like the high profile occasional event?
As far as what, crime?
Yes.
Yeah, our problem has been these you know, one-off shootings that we've been running into. But our main problem is the theft from auto, you know, those kinds of things. Our numbers are always skewed because of the prison. So when you take the prison numbers out, theft from auto is our main problem. Petty drugs, you know, that's what our issues are. We don't have the high murder rate. You know, we just don't have that up here. We don't have the violent crimes. I know in the last 2 weeks, it seems like carjackings and car theft, where they're actually stealing the car, that has been up a little bit. I know there was a car stolen last night over on Ashton Road. They carjacked the Uber Eats guy. Not too far.
I'm just thinking as far as a tie-in with Town Watch, like if we if we go through the blocks where these theft from autos are occurring, and we're finding that these are, I'm getting some feedback here.
Oh, sorry. It's my son came upstairs. I want
All right. No, I was just, I know when I used to work at the Northeast Times, and I think they still do it. They put in like 100 blocks. Now, whether you get the times or not is sporadic, I guess, anymore. But the point is that the town watch would work to kind of keep an eye on these people that walk up and down the blocks and just trying door handles for people that leave their cars unlocked and stuff. We're not going to do anything to stop the shooting every 6 months or every 9 months over on Kendrick Street. You know what I mean? Because that's targeted stuff, and those people they've got beefs going on, all over the city or whatever. But as far as the high volume routine stuff, I don't know where things stand in those regards. Like if we get a few people to go out and patrol, what are the odds that they're actually going to see something, in terms of the, yeah.
I'd like to propose that for me, I don't feel like serious crime is really our issue. Our issue is quality of life crime, right? Litter, dumping,
Yeah.
property decline, the quads and the street bikes that are running around the streets and through the park. Those are the things that, to me, are drive down the culture of a neighborhood, which then leads to drugs and auto theft and break-ins and carjackings. But I don't know what kind of outlet other than calling Clip that we have for dealing with quality of life issues. Graffiti,
Yeah, that's not necessarily a town watch thing. I mean, that's more like Clip or the graffiti people. The town watch again would be crimes of opportunity, but the frequent stuff, like, yeah, if you see a group of suspicious, like, people gathering on the same corner at the same time doing drug deals or something, you report that, certainly. But I think from everything that I gather from Tom's good reports and from everything that you hear from the police over time, the thing that doesn't go away are these car break-ins where you just have people they're not high level or even mid-level drug dealers. They're just users, and they're looking for the quick buck. And inevitably, they're going to find people who don't lock their car doors, Plus, you get the other thing that's going on is they've and you see it more in like the 15th district, but they actually strip things from cars. So they'll take the car wheels or they'll take the catalytic converters. That's what, like, these CROs that I hear. I mean, I hear from the 2nd and the 15th and sometime the 7th. Unfortunately, I don't cover any of the meetings where the 8th attends.
Yeah, those crimes, unfortunately, even with Town Watch, they wait for you to go by and both,
Right.
Like catalytic converters, they get them out of there in less than a minute.
Yep.
And then the other committee ideas that we had that we've touched on these a little bit. The community liaison we talked about, right? Mark and Clip, we just kind of mentioned those. Fundraising and Parks and Rec. And that would be the total committee list that we kind of have on our agenda, but don't really have the bodies to fill the committees.
Yeah.
Stan, these things, like, you've kind of been serving as the Clip contact, haven't you, in a sense?
Yes.
And I mean, I don't know if that's sounds like we'd like to delegate a little bit so that we don't have one person doing all the work.
Well, the Clip issues, I basically send over to the girls.
Yeah.
If there's a Clip issue that you know of, all you have to do is pick up the phone, call Bobby's office. The girls take it. They deal with Clip every day.
Right.
So, I mean, that's kind of the way we've been handling the thing. It's just not our area. It's It's Wistonomy, it's Tacony, it's Mayfair, it's all of them.
But I think that's been productive, right?
Yeah, it has been. I mean, we keep a log. We know who called in, and we try to keep folks up to date. So, Bobby's office has been doing a pretty good job.
Maybe that would be a good campaign, I think, maybe to kind of reintroduce the community to CLIP.
Well, we can certainly do that.
And to encourage people to call, right? To call and what's the procedure of if you see this, do this? Because I do find that people, as we all know, right? People come to us to solve problems. And what we try to do is we can't necessarily be the people, we're volunteers, so we can't be the problem solvers, but we can give you the tools to solve your own problems, right? And so, I mean, I just Googled the community life program on the city's website, and it just tells you to call 311. Right. And then that goes back to what you said a while ago, that the new process is that when you call 311, you're given a case assignment number that's important to have, right?
That's right. Yeah, because if you call in multiple times for the same issue and there's no action, then Bobby's office can then step in. I've got LNI contacts, but they won't even talk to me or anybody else unless you have, I call it a ticket. You have a ticket number from 311, and if you have multiple numbers, it's even better. But I will say they have been better. It used to be, people would call 311 and nothing ever happened. But now they are being forced to look at every one of these issues.
I had to submit one time in another neighborhood. It's city-owned property. It's just a little traffic triangle sort of thing, but it's like wooded. And they refused to take it and they rejected it. It took them a couple of months, and you sort of wait for them to act on something. And then after a couple of months, they just closed it out because they said they couldn't find the address. Well, there is no address. It's city owns, it's city property. You know what I mean?
That's typical. Unfounded. First one is always unfounded.
Yes. It's like, well, if you don't know what the address is, you own it. Meaning the city.
Right.
Oh.
I do have an update on Bobby's trial if anybody's interested.
Okay.
Looks like it is set in stone for May 3rd.
Oh.
So the wheels are already turning. Darryl Clark has reached out to our office and, putting together contingency plans. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, well, the office has to operate. You have to keep giving constituent service.
Yep. But, you're going to have like Courtney. She's probably going to be stuck over there. She's going to have to testify. Obviously, Bobby will be there.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if they pull some of the folks that used to work in the office back when all this stuff happened.
Yeah.
I know they've asked me to come in for a couple of weeks just to work out of the office. So the girls aren't sitting there by themselves. So I said I would do that.
Well, I used to drop off a bundle of Northeast Times there every week and on Torresdale Ave. And they must have tripped it over it that morning that they busted into the place. Because that happened to be the morning after I dropped off the papers. They must have thought I was putting up a barrier or something.
Yeah.
Anyway.
You're going to get called in to testify.
Yeah. Anyway.
So that's all I have. Does anybody have anything else?
I do not.
No.
Just one quick tidbit. It looks like St. Vincent's may in fact be going to the Maritime School.
Wait, say that again?
I said St. Vincent's.
Yep.
On Milner Street.
Yep.
Looks like the Maritime School may in fact be moving in there.
So it's not going to be turned into the 55 and older community.
What, St. Vincent's?
Yeah, they had a banner up there. Where was it? It's the people that built the what's it called? If you drive up State Road, if you drive up State Road, go past Cornwall Heights. So you're up there. You're into
Oh,
Bucks.
BSI. BSI the Boston Services Incorporated. That's your
Right.
home. Yeah.
They had a banner up on top of St. Vincent's for a while talking about housing that they were going to build there.
Yeah, that's John Parsons. Yeah, that got shut down.
Good.
Yeah, he's got a rare opportunity. He was being fought by some folks. The community actually wants it, but the owner of St. Vincent's is an old lawyer, and his manners aren't very good. So that has created a little bit of a problem. But in terms of money, I would say that John Parsons probably has an opportunity to make an extra $5 million on a property and probably a contract to build the school. And that's what he does.
So they're not going to retain the original buildings. They're going to knock them all down?
Yep, they're already being knocked down.
Are they really?
Yeah, there's demolition permits out on them already.
Wow. That's a shame. It's a beautiful building.
Yeah, really.
Yep. So it's just if you hear things happen as it relates to that, that's you have some information. Other than that, that's all I have.
All right. Well, I guess we can't do the drawing of the 50-50, huh?
I win.
How do we announce these meetings besides the notice on Facebook? Do we have email addresses, for instance, and send out anything by email to members?
I have not been doing that. I have to go back and we lost our previous secretary, and I have the list. I just have to move it over into the new format. So truthfully, I haven't done that yet. I've been mostly communicating with the community through Facebook. That's been one of the drivers. We had a lengthy, let me turn my camera on so you're not talking to a black screen. One of the main topics at our last board meeting was regarding membership. And we had a very honest conversation amongst ourselves over the challenges that we're faced with having a more seasoned population in this area that's not necessarily very technologically savvy. So if all we're doing is email or Facebook and communicating, via electronically, that there are large swaths of the population that are not even aware that we exist. And so the outstanding question is, how do we communicate with people, right?
Yeah, we are going to get a list of addresses, and we're toying with the idea of doing a mailing. So I'm waiting for. We're supposed to get addresses from the Bobby's office and the planning board. So we may give that a try.
I'm willing to help with formatting an email list or whatever we have to do. That is a list of email addresses, and certainly when we try to get a new member, we should try to get their email address and permission to send a monthly message to it.
Yep, it's a great idea. I actually have a Google form that I created. Kind of lost, truthfully, I'll be honest, I kind of lost track of that project. I had already have the form created that we can link into our website and our Facebook page that someone can click on to join us, and it would automatically populate. They'd fill out, fields on the form, and it would automatically populate a Google sheet. Then that's part of, that's our mailing list. So you're lighting a little bit of a fire on me. I appreciate you bringing it up again, and I'll move that to a higher list on the priority list.
Well, if you could think of a way in which I might be able to help, I'll try.
Very good.
Thanks for the offer.
Yeah, really appreciate that. When we get to the mailing list part, I think that's when because I can easily, it's a matter of just me sitting down and doing it. I have the information in, I think it's a CSV file that was a data dump from the previous secretary. And I just have to ingest it into Google Sheets and make sure the fields match up. It's just a matter of me sitting down to do it. The bigger task is going to be when we do get a mailing list, is to figure out who's in our area and who's not, right? Depending on how we get the list. And then depending on how we get it, how we format it to be able to print off labels and things like that. That's where I will definitely call upon you. If you want to put in your contact information in the chat, if it's okay, you can do it. You can just do it to me directly. I'm the Upper Holmesburg Civic Association. My name's Crystal. I'm the secretary. Just throw it in there, and then I will add you to our contacts and make sure that I have it and have you noted as a person to reach out for when we do get the mailing list.
You should have my application from years ago, but here goes.
Oh, I'm sure I probably do, but it's in the
I'm
other
sorry.
list that I haven't ingested yet.
Yeah,
I moved us from Yahoo to Google.
do we have a Google group for the association?
We do not. We do not. You mean like a chat group?
And no, Google had groups that were competitors to Yahoo groups.
Yep.
They still have them, and of course, if someone who joins such a group says that they wish to receive postings as emails or to be notified when there's a new post,
Get a lot.
of course, it's just another way to load into your shotgun of ways to tell people there's a meeting.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, truthfully, I think I've tried to keep it kind of contained to not have to go to 6 different platforms to communicate, which has, it's challenging. It's truthfully challenging with all of us all of us have day jobs.
Among young people, among African Americans, where I like to remind people, don't just live in Philadelphia, Pittsburgh.
Oh, sorry.
All right, so if we don't have anything else, we have a motion to adjourn.
I do.
So moved.
All right.
Okay.
All right, we'll see you guys in a couple of weeks for our board meeting.
Very good.
All right, thanks. Tom, as soon as you get that information, get it out to us, okay?
I will. All right.
All right, thanks.
Thanks.
You mentioned trying to determine whether somebody lived in our area.
Mhm.
If we have their address, then we can get their zip+4 address from the post office's computer. And with that information, we can make the determination.
We can. Like if you're only going by the 19136, that's the challenge, right? Because that encompasses way beyond our area.
And that's why I said we take the address, feed it into the post office computer, ask what the zip+4 is.
I like your plan.
And
So-
then
Stan, the mailing list that we're attempting to get, do you know if that only has the 5-digit zip, or does it have the +4?
I would think in this day and age, it would have the +4. Because you know that the boundaries for a lot of these division and wards are all over the place.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's another way to figure things out. Feed the addresses into the city's computer and get a reply about what ward and division they're in. Because I doubt that our boundary crosses any division line.
So what's interesting with our boundaries, so our boundaries, the boundaries of our territory aren't necessarily the boundaries that are with the City Planning Commission, right? So it's like our area, for example, on Frankfurt, the easiest way to explain it is on Frankfurt Avenue. Technically, the area for Upper Holmesburg, according to the Planning Commission, on the St. Dominic's. I mean, correct me if I'm
Are you
wrong.
seriously starting this again?
No, I'm not. I'm explaining. I'm not starting. We went around. This is an ongoing. That's why it's a joke. It was an ongoing discussion about it. But that's technically not our area. But it's part of the Civic Association's area. But it's really not part of Upper Holmesburg by the City Planning Commission's definition.
Mm.
So it's like it's not completely cut and dry. Like that's why it's like when we get a mailing list, it's going to really require. I think it's truthfully it's going to end up requiring us looking at maps and looking at addresses.
Yeah.
Well, I can help with that.
We
And
can.
I
Sorry.
do understand a few ways to automate the process.
You are hired, and I didn't see you chat me your email. Is it in there?
Yes, it's the last posting on the chat.
Why am
There
I
are only
not seeing it?
there are only 4 chats today, or 5.
I know. I only see the last one I see is from Bill Kenny to everyone that says hi there. I don't see your.
Oh, there are 2 more.
I don't see them. Why am I not seeing?
Oh,
them?
wait a moment. I think I didn't do it right. It said from me to Stan, not from me to everyone.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let me try again. See, does this work? Direct message? Oh, it still says Stan. Oh, here's everyone. You have to hit a down arrow.
Perfect.
All right, I'm sorry.
No,
Uh,
it's all good.
Facebook, I've got to
You're
learn.
fired. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
It's all good. All right. Welcome to the membership committee.
All right,
Do you
Hey,
prefer?
thanks a lot.
Do you prefer Jim or James?
Jim is fine
All right.
and saves you 2 fingers.
It's okay. I got a brother named Jim and I had a father named Jim.
All right,
All right.
guys, we'll see you all next week.
Thank you.
I'll talk to you later.
Night.
And
Bye-bye.
everyone, please stay well.
Yeah, you too, Mr. Boland. Bye-bye.
Thank you.